Hi, Donnie. How's it going there today?
I'm doing well, Darren. How about yourself?
I am excellent, and you are a very interesting person to be interviewing because not only are you the Vice President of Music Education at Guitar Center, but I know about your past with going back to Musicians Institute and your drumming and your composing and so forth. How do you like to be thought of given all those titles and roles you've had over those years?
Oh, wow. Darren, what a great question, and thank you. I'd like to hire you as my publicist. I just think of myself as an entrepreneur musician because I love making music, right? I definitely love the right side of my brain being creative and putting my messages, if you will, or music out into the world. But there's also part of me that's part educator and part businessman, and I think those three things go together that hopefully make me uniquely me. And with those three things together, I think what my real passion is, if I put those three topics, let's say businessman, entrepreneur, musician, educator, my main goal is to put more music out into the world, whether that's me sharing my music or enabling others to learn and play music. So those are my passions, and I think if I thought much further than that, Darren, then I'd probably jumble myself up, if you will. So I get up every day and think about how can I make music, how can I help others make music, how can I teach people to make music, and how can I put more music into the world. And that's kind of my it's kind of my mission statement, if you will, and I just sort of go where life takes me, and I just seek to meet more and more people to do that.
When you were studying at Berklee, did you have any idea of your path as a music educator?
No. I don't think consciously is the real answer, Darren. So I think my biggest influences in my life have always been educators, particularly at Berklee. I studied with a few different men. Casey Sherrill, John Ramsey were mentors of mine in more than just music and life. And so I think, educators made such a big impact on my life, if you will, the transformative power of education, that I think that became an unrecognized passion of mine until I grew into my mid to late 20s. And so, since you know my background, I grew up in Detroit, Michigan, and I can definitely say that without music and without the transformative power of education and the opportunities that education and music education provided me, Berklee or no Berklee, I wouldn't be talking to you today. So in that way, that kind of goes back to my passion of trying to get more music in the world. But it's a wonderful path to have taken, and it's one of those sayings of like, if all your wishes and dreams come true, you're probably not going to be happy, right? Because it's the path that life takes you is the real magical one, and I couldn't be happier where I'm at. I've lived each portion of the musical spectrum, from composing and touring musician to educator to my role here at Guitar Center, and I love each and every one of those, and they were a great period of my life. And so I guess that's a long-winded answer to a short question, which is, I didn't, but I'm so ecstatic that it turned out this way. So I wouldn't change a minute of it.
Of course. And Guitar Center is one of those interesting kind of companies where the people who are loyal to the brand know exactly what they're getting. They know that they're going to get their gear from trusted individuals. But the average person who does not play music would go, that's just a place for guitars, which we know is not true. So I'm curious if you could tell me a little bit more about what Guitar Center is working on at the moment when it comes to music education.
Oh, I love it. Great question, Darren. So, that's why I'm here. I'm here to educate as many minds and young minds in music as possible. And, and we talk a lot at Guitar Center about company, our company culture, our mantra, right? And we talk a lot about the actual power of music out in the world. And as you know, right, we're primarily known as a retailer of music equipment and particularly guitars. But I think what I'm most proud of and what we're building is we're now the leading provider of, supplemental music lessons throughout the country. And to me, that's the real passion, of course, that I have and where Guitar Center is going. And so if I put a bow on it, right, and we're the leading provider of music lessons, and I would just say that enables me and it enables my teams and our teams in education to talk to thousands of parents and students, right, and so we listen to what parents want, what student practice habits are and their challenges, and parents' concerns, about their children's development, right, and the impact of music on their development, whether it's making more friends or reducing screen time or, homework or friendship, etc. So, lately, I think what I'm most proud of is, months and months ago, we sat down as a leadership team and began to wonder, for lack of a better term, what's the positive impact of music in the world, and does that translate, to music lessons, and how does that positively affect kids? What is the real benefits of learning music, and how do we fulfill our sort of moral obligation, if you will, to put more music into the world? So, if asking what does Guitar Center have cooking right now, right? We just commissioned an independent research study, exploring the effects of music lessons and supplemental music instruction on the development of children. And our core ages for our students is 7 to 17. And so I think what I'm most excited about being an academic and educator myself is that we partnered with researchers from the University of Georgia and the University of Alabama College of Education. And, we really looked into this, and so, we're teaching thousands of students and children a week, and we love doing that, but we want to know how we can help them more. And so some of the takeaways that, Guitar Center's been able to glean with this, as well as our enterprise, right, because through, our brand, we also have Music and Arts, which is also a very, very prominent name in music education. Right. We saw that, there are positive effects to music education lessons. We saw, parents feel that their son, daughter, thought that they had increased problem-solving skills, if you will. Students got better at time management, prioritization, increased self-awareness and social skills. So when we put, when you're asking me about my background and how did music affect it, I think it affected, as I reflect on it, it did the exact same thing. So being a father myself, right, increased problem-solving skills for my child? Yes, I'd like that, please. Yeah, I'll take one of those, right? Time management and prioritizing, important items, check, love that, want my kids to have that, and, and having increased social skills and social awareness. Yes, right. So putting more music in the world, I think what Guitar Center is so proud of is by doing that, we're actually, seeking to do more than that, if you will.
Sure. 2 quick questions, and then you're a free man, Donny. And the first is, what's the last concert that you saw for fun?
The last concert I saw for fun, I just was at the Hollywood Bowl. I took both my sons and my wife. We went and saw Nile Rodgers and Chic at the Hollywood Bowl. And I didn't realize, number one, that I was getting older because I knew all the songs, and two, right, and two, just how many, culturally impactful hits that Nile Rodgers had sort of authored, everything from Daft Punk all the way back to David Bowie. So that was a lot of fun, and it was great to kind of show my young kids as they're working and learning on music that, this is live music, this makes people happy, right? People are smiling in the crowd. So it was great to be able to take my kids there as well.
Great concert, I'd imagine. So Any last words for the kids?
Oh, it's like the G.I. Joe thing, right? Stay in school. No. But I think that by studying music, it's going to give those children and those kids and those students so much more than music alone. And hopefully, just as it's done for many of us here at Guitar Center, we can help to set them up for whatever success they may want, whether it's being a musician or a doctor or whatever the case may be. And that's kind of what we're here to do, is help them realize their goals.
Wonderful, Donny. Thank you so much for your time, and keep up the great work that you're doing.
Darren, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to hear your voice, and thanks for all your great questions.
Thank you.